Hey, this is Russell Brunson, and I'm excited for today's training. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use the Star Story Solution script. This is one that it's kind of funny, the background on how I kind of learned this. When I first got into my online business, I remember I was learning all the different pieces, and it was so exciting for me. And then someone was explaining copywriting to me. And I remember just being so upset and not liking it. And I was like, I didn't want to learn it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be part of it. Like, I was so against copywriting. I thought it was a horrible thing. And then I tried to hire some copywriters, and it was not cheap by any stretch of the imagination. I remember the first copywriter I hired was $10,000, which I saved up for like almost a year to hire her. And then she wrote the copy, and it came back, and it wasn't even that good. Like, I remember being really upset. And so then just kind of default, because I wanted to make money, I had to learn how to write copy. I was kind of forced into it because I couldn't keep affording I couldn't afford to hire copywriters each time, and all those things that kind of come with that. So I was like, fine, I just got to learn this. And so I started testing and trying things, and what was cool is it's actually interesting. I remember I was talking to Jeff Walker a while ago, and he was one of the first to kind of that I heard someone explain this, and it made a lot of sense to me. He was talking about how the biggest benefit of what you can do in your business is start publishing things, start writing blog posts and emails and sending things out, because when you do, you see how people respond and what they respond to and things like that. And that's really the key is learning that. So for me, it's been now 12 years of me, setting things out and writing copy and setting things and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And along the way, I found different templates and scripts I've tried to use, and then try to modify things. And it's been a 12-year journey for me trying to figure this out. I remember a couple years ago when I was writing copy, I'd write a video sales letter, and it would take me 2 or 3 weeks to write a video sales letter. Like, it was really intense. I'd have 1,000 swipe files out, and I'd have things, and I would try to like get it right. And man, it was just a lot of work. And half the times, actually more than half, the majority of the times, it would fail. It wouldn't make any money at all. And I remember just being so frustrated at the process and not liking it. And one time, some of you guys probably heard, I interviewed a guy named Vincent James who had made $100 million in 23 months selling supplements. We'll leave it at that. And when I was talking to him, he was talking about his copywriting approach. And he said, I write copy very simple. I said, I'd follow three things: star, story, solution. He says, every good sales letter's got a star, there's a story, then provides a solution. And he told me that's all he kind of said, and I was like, cool. And so then I started trying to write my copy that way, where I had a star, and then I had a story and a solution. And it was a better framework. At least I had a direction I was kind of going in. A lot of times before, I was just writing copy. I think I just had words on a page because I saw other people had words, and that's kind of all I would ever do. And I realized later that there's a method to do it the right way. And so again, this is me then taking the star, story, solution thing and starting to fill in gaps and starting to fill in like how do I introduce a star? How do I make a video or a sales that are interesting at the first? How do I get people to be engaged so they don't leave? We used to test. We used to use Wistia on all of our videos, which would test and show you how long people stay. And I'd launch videos, and people would stay, and everyone would be bouncing after like 10 seconds. I'm like, what's going on? Like, I got to figure out this way to keep them longer. And so I was testing thing after thing after thing. And then I started kind of building out this process map over here on the left, based on the things I was doing and things that were working and how people were responding. I also went through, I would say, probably, at least 1,000 different sales letters where I'd go through, and then I would find pieces that I liked, and I'd pull them into this thing, and I'd be like, oh, I liked how this guy did this, and I'd pull things in. And then I'm taking that from copy, and then a lot of people had their copyrighted templates. I looked at lots of them. There were pieces I liked, pieces I didn't like, and I'd pull things in. Dagan Smith taught me about story selling and about the right way to tell a story and how to do it. And there's so many things I learned from him that I then started pulling into this. And so again, this is just me year after year after year, like as I'm writing my own sales letters, my own sales videos and things, pulling pieces in and trying to figure out the right formula to make something that consistently works. And that's kind of the key with this. And so this has become my blueprint. So now when I do write a sales letter or a sales video, this is what I use. I don't open up a blank page anymore and try to go through it. I have a definite structure to everything I do. And so you'll notice if you watch any of my sales videos or sales letters that I follow this process and this path. Not always 100%. There will be things that I tweak and I change around based on just the letter. You know, in my my philosophy of copywriting, whatever you want to call it, you know, that each letter, each message has like a, you know, that has its own life. And so sometimes things don't fit perfectly in this framework. And so I'm okay tweaking things and moving things around, or shifting the order sometimes, or leaving parts out, or adding things. Because again, this is a framework. It's not necessarily like, you know, it has to do this. It's just kind of, it gives me a process I can follow. And so if you've studied me at all, I'm a very process type person. I love having a whiteboard. I sketch things out, and it's just made it easy for me. So this training, what my goal is to go through this process with you, to kind of show you how it all works. And I'm going to kind of show you, I started writing a new sales letter here using this process, and I haven't finished it yet. I want to show you just kind of how I do it, because I think that'll help you when you're doing it as well. And then over here is kind of a finished product. This is, maybe I'll start over here just because it's here, and I don't want you guys wondering what this is over here the whole time. So this is a sales letter, or a sales letter and sales video. They're kind of the same for me. But this is a sales video that I wrote, and was one of the highest response ones that I've ever done. I think when we first launched it, we added like 22,000 members to a membership site in the first 6 weeks. It was crazy, and it was before this. You know, I had developed this completely to here, and so it doesn't follow this 100%, but there's a lot of elements in here that we got from this. This is a video that we tested more than probably almost any video I've ever done, and so it's a really good working model. And just some things like this it's kind of fun. I wanted to defend this page for a minute, because on Unbounce, a big famous popular blog, so they posted an article the other day about how ugly converts, and they actually showed my my sales letter right here and said this was the ugliest page they'd ever seen, but it converted. So it made me kind of laugh. So this page came from a lot of testing and tweaking and stuff. And so this usually is like what the end product of one of these sales videos is a page like this. Okay, this right here is the sales video. It's paused right now. If I unpause it, you can see. Working with a software company, you know, it kind of goes through there, and you'll see this process is being told here through PowerPoint slides. What we found through a ton of testing is, for us, and again, this may change. Things always evolve and change. You know, when we first started doing video sales letters, we would just have the video, nothing else, and hide the add to cart button. People couldn't pause or anything, and that worked really good for a while. But about 2 years ago for us, that stopped winning. Like every test we ran, you know, hiding controls hurt. And then actually adding the add to cart button helped. So now when we come to ours, you have the video and the add to cart button is always there. That's kind of our control that wins. One of our, in the .com Secrets Lab testing book, one of the split tests that we found from somebody else was they added an add to cart button above their video and increased their conversions by like 38%. So we did that and had a very similar result. So for me, I've got an add to cart button above and below. I know it's weird. I've got my headline right here, and this is what we call a video spoiler box. And in almost every case, this little video spoiler box has helped to dramatically increase the conversions on the video. And basically what we do is we just take the video, and we're kind of pulling pieces out of this thing. You know, this first one's talking about the intro, which is really, you know, you're struggling to make money, and then how do you learn a bike? We want to teach you time to start making money. So we kind of, this is kind of giving them an idea of what's going to be inside the video, and for whatever reason, it causes more engagement, keeps people around longer. So those are some of the elements on this page that we use and why we use them. And then this right here is the video sales letter. So this is where I would put in this thing from here. And I had someone actually, I called someone yesterday who said, you know, those video sales letters with the PowerPoint slides are so ugly. Like, do those actually work? And the answer, unfortunately, is yes, they do work really, really good. So we still use them. I'm a big fan now, though, of, for me, everything's about pattern interrupts, right? When you have something for a long time, it becomes the pattern, and you got to be able to interrupt the pattern to be able to keep people's attention. In fact, step number one is pattern interrupt, right? And so for a long time, this was like the pattern interrupt, like, oh, what are these words? I'm reading it and I'm seeing it, and that was kind of the pattern. And nowadays, I think because so many people have done it, that it's not as good anymore. And so for me, I'm a big fan of like a hybrid of things. I still use a lot of these PowerPoint style things, but I also mix them with maybe videos of me, of testimonials. In fact, if you look at this video here, I'm going to refresh this page. You'll see that I start with a really cool cartoon that does like the first intro, like the whole star part is done through a cartoon. We do that for a pattern interrupt, and from there it transitions over to PowerPoint slides throughout the rest. So let me show you that real quick. I've question for you. Have you ever wanted to work from home or own your own business? Come on, you know you want that lifestyle, the one that everybody talks about, where you can work from home in your underwear or on the beach with your laptop. So why hasn't it happened for you yet? Come on, you gotta admit it. This isn't the first time you've been looking for a proven way to make money, is it? Okay, so far, did you notice pattern interrupt at the very beginning? I ask core desire questions. Then I ask, right now I'm agitating their past failures. Okay, not sure if you noticed those things yet. So I'm gonna refresh this again and let you start from the beginning now that you're kind of hearing it. Because notice how I'm gonna go through and these things right here I'm gonna be covering during this video. So let me refresh it so you can pay attention this time. I've got a quick question for you. Have you ever wanted to work from home or own your own business? Come on, you know you want that lifestyle, the one that everybody talks about, where you can work from home in your underwear or on the beach with your laptop. So why hasn't it happened for you yet? Come on, you gotta admit it. This isn't the first time you've been looking for a proven way to make money, is it? When is it your turn? My guess is this. You saw someone online promising you riches untold. But there was a catch. Doesn't there always seem to be a catch? You've got to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to get started, right? Before you make any money. Don't they know that that's the reason you're there? Because you need money? Doesn't it seem like that if all those gurus' courses and the software works so good and they really believed in them, why wouldn't they just give you their money-making systems and then after you've made your money, then they'd get paid? Hi, my name is Russell Brunson and I'm an internet multimillionaire. And that question was one that somebody asked me about a year ago. Now at first I was kind of angry, probably because the cheapest coaching program I offered at the time was $5,000. But then I realized he's right. You see, my company name is .com Secrets. You might have seen us on CBS, Fox, or NBC News. Or if you've ever flown on Virgin Airlines, the owner of the company and a multi-billionaire, his name is Richard Branson, put our company name on the side of one of his planes. It's pretty cool, don't you think? Anyway, our company mission is simple. First, to help 100,000 people to make their very first $100 online. Second, to help 10,000 people to finally fire their boss. Third, to help 1,000 people make 6 figures a year. And fourth, to help 100 people to become millionaires. Now, I know these goals are kind of big, but so far we're making great progress. You've probably heard some of our success stories of our students. People like Justin Brooke, or Joy Anderson, or Dee Price, or Russell Viscas, Zan and Jen Spencer, and hundreds of other people who all had ordinary lives and now make full-time incomes from home on the internet thanks to .com Secrets. So with such a big mission and the fact that unlike other people we know that our system works, we decided to do the unthinkable. We took our $5,000 coaching program, we simplified it and improved it, and called it .com Secrets X. And we decided to give it to you for free. Well, it's kind of free. We're going to do what that guy challenged me to do. First, prove to you that it actually works, and then just pays from the profits you make. Does that sound fair? For example, if I were to give you $100, would you give me $10 back? What if I gave you $1,000? Would you give me $100 back? Okay, what about $1 million? Now, I know that probably seems impossible right now, but don't discount it either, because it's happening right now with others just like you. And don't worry, this isn't the first time we've done this. The last time I took on students, well, the results turned out pretty great. Let me tell you a story about Zan and Jen Spencer. Zan was working in the software. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. And again, it didn't follow this 100% perfect, but did you notice, like, we started with pattern interrupt, then we did the core desire questions, then I agitated your past failures. Then I kind of went on and introduced myself as the attractive character. Then kind of moved on from there. High drama, where the guy stands up and calls me out on my coaching program, and then and I kind of go through this thing, and so and then this video goes on for probably another 15 minutes or so that kind of weaves through more and more of this. In fact, right now Zan and Jen, the software company, is let's see, kind of identifying first signs of success. Actually, no, more so case studies, because anyway, we'll dig into it deeper, but you'll see. Okay, I want to show you that because for me, it's part the script, but part is like, how do you capture their attention? So you don't have to have a big animated video like that, like I did at the beginning of mine. You can also, do it with a picture, or just, there's different things, but something that's going to make you stick out and just be different. That's always going to help. Now, some people say, well, Russell, this is a video sales letter script? And the answer is yes, it is, but we can also use it for sales letters. And so let me show you another page real quick that you'll see the sales letter version of this. All right, and what you'll notice for me, like, in fact, nowadays, it used to be like I would just do video or just do sales letter. Now I'm kind of a big fan of both. In fact, newer versions of this page would have the video, then under this I'd have like the actual sales letter version for the scanners. But here's the sales letter version, okay? Notice this. I've got a cool question for you. Have you ever want to work from home, own your own business? Come on, you know the lifestyle you want, the one that everyone talks about. Okay, core desire questions. So why hasn't it happened for you yet? This we start shifting to agitate past failures. So I take the same sales letter and I just make it a long form sales letter. I break out each section just to make the headlines pop. Throw in images to make it kind of cool. But you notice like it's still kind of following, it's still the same script. It's still a Star Story Solution script. And of course I got Mr. Miyagi in there, which is just cool. Anyway, but again, I want to show you this because this works for sales videos, it works for sales letters. It's kind of the same process and the same path no matter which one I'm doing. So I hope that kind of helps you guys to see where we're going to be using this stuff, as well as how it kind of works. Okay. All right. So let me come back here. So again, so the overarching structure of the video sales letter or the sales letter is Star Story Solution. So the star is typically, if you've gone through any of my other trainings, you talk about the attractive character. It's the person that this letter or this thing is about. And sometimes that star is going to be you. Other times it might be a success story, it might be a student, it could be anyone, right? But it's somebody that the audience can identify with. They can say, wow, this is someone that they can have empathy with, that I can relate to. Okay, so that's a big key is the star and identifying who that's going to be first, and then the star's got to go through a story, right? There's some process that the star had to go through to be able to get to the solution in the future, which is going to be your product or your service. So there's a story. So the story's going to walk through kind of what happened and how do they get to this this spot, and usually the spot is kind of where the listener or the reader's at right now, right? So and we'll get deep in this, but it's gonna go through the backstory. Like, hey, I was in the same spot you were at, so you're bringing the story back to them right then, and then after you've identified that, then you're saying, okay, this is the path they went on to be able to achieve success, and then the way that this happened was boom, the solution, and the from solution, this is going to be your product and your service. And this is how we actually sell your product. Okay. Now, most people when they sell, they just start right here, right? Have you ever been pitched something where the vacuum cleaner guy comes and knocks on your door and always talking about the solution, and he misses the rest, right? And so it can work, but you're basically cramming something down someone's throat. You know, I talk a lot about how selling is kind of like the movie Inception. Like we got to cause inception inside someone's mind where they're taken on a journey and they're put into an environment in a selling situation where it's their idea, where they go through this and like, wow, I really need this thing. Okay, and that's kind of the goal here, is that you're not really selling someone as much as you're introducing them to somebody who they can relate to. You're showing the process and the story that person went through to find the solution that they're looking for, and then you introduce the solution and you offer it to them. And if you do that, it changes the dynamics, kind of changes the whole perspective. Okay. So again, that's kind of the game plan. I hope this helps you. Next thing I want to show you guys is kind of how I write these things. And so if you notice here, I started this one. I'm writing a new video sales letter for Supplement Secrets, which is a training course we're creating to teach people how to start their own supplement companies. And so what I did, and before I started this, I went through each of these little things and I broke it down into sections. Okay, now I realized that this is how a lot of good copywriters do it. When I hired this guy and paid him, I think I've paid him over $100,000 to write sales letters for me in the past. And he writes sales letters and send them to me, and they're always amazing. And one time he sent me a draft of it. It was kind of funny. He did it through Google Docs, and he's like, he hates showing people the sales letters while he's working on them. And but he did for me. He's like, hey, check this one out. And so he opened it up inside of Google Docs and let me log in. So I logged in and I saw it, and it was kind of like this. I saw this and I saw all these sections that he had. And they weren't the same as mine, but they were sections that he had copy inside of them. And he's like, hey, check it out. I started looking, and I was looking through this, and I was like, oh my gosh. And I started looking, and I was like looking at his process where he takes somebody through. It was just like this. And I was like so excited, and then he like turned it off. I don't know. I'm not a big Google Docs person. Somehow he turned it off, and like I couldn't see it anymore. He's like, hey, there's your sneak peek. And he's like, I'll have it for you in a week. And I was like, I want to see it again. He's like, nope. He's like, that's all you get. And I'm like, oh, dang it. So he didn't show it to me. And then a week later he sent it to me, and obviously he went through and deleted all these little the markers and just sent me the sales letter, and it was amazing. And I was just like, dang, I wish I would have known. And I asked him, I'm like, can you send me like I'm like, do you have a template, or what are you plugging things into? And he wouldn't tell me. And I was just like so frustrated. And then as I started kind of building this out, I would just turn this into like a little template. So when I write new sales letters, this is how I do it. I use like just a text program. When I used to be a Windows guy, I would just use Notepad. I loved it. I don't like Notepad and Mac very well, so I use I think it's called TextMate, but it's just like a text editor. So that's what I typically use. Some people like use Microsoft Word or pages or whatever. It doesn't really matter. Just whatever you want to type it in. I just like this because it strips out all the formatting. I don't like having formatting when I'm writing copy. The next thing to kind of know when you do start writing, well, let me step back. So first thing I do is I go through and I take all these things and notice I write. So I pattern interrupt here, core desire questions, agitate past failures, big promise, intro star. So I go through and I take this template right here and I break it down so I know where I'm going. I've got a very clear path of the direction that I'm going with this sales letter. Okay, and this will help you so much when you're doing it because now you're following a path and a process, right? So that's kind of the big thing. So I write that out. The next thing is then I start going through it. I'm just going to go and I'm try to write copy in these as fast as I can. Now, one thing to understand when you're writing copy is that there's two parts of your brain, right? There's left brain and there's right brain. And one side of your brain is very creative and can come up with good copy. The other side of your brain wants to edit things, right? It's all about like making sure structure's right and that your punctuation's right, all sorts of weird things like that. And the problem is that when you're writing copy, if you're using both sides of your brain, you'll never get this to happen because you write something creatively and then your brain starts editing it and changing it, and it kills the flow. And so what you have to do is when you're doing this is just sit down and start writing. And I know that the first few times you do this, it'll be kind of a weird process, but you just write and you can't edit. Like if you have a typo, you do not stop. You don't do punctuation. You just write crap as fast as you can. Because that's going to shut off the analytical side of your brain that's going to try to edit things, because the analytical side will strangle your copy. It'll kill it as fast as it can, okay? So you got to turn that off and just write. And a lot of times I'll just close my eyes and write as fast as I can. Or sometimes what I'll do is I'll take out my iPhone, and on my iPhone there's a recorder. I think it's iRecord or something like that. And a lot of times I'll open this thing right here, and I'll just click record on it, and I'll just start talking. Because a lot of times I talk, I can turn off the analytical side of my brain. I can just tell stories and kind of fill things in. And I'll talk my way through it. And then I'll send that audio to someone on Fiverr.com and get them to transcribe it and send it back to me. And a lot of times I'll take that and copy and paste those things into here. And then from there, I can use my analytical brain to edit them and make them sound better. But that way, sometimes it's easier to talk copy than it is to actually write copy because your analytical brain keeps shutting you off. In fact, it's funny, a lot of our high-end coaching students, I'll do Voxer coaching with them where it's kind of like a walkie-talkie, and they'll ask me, whatever, and I'll like, okay, here's copy. I'm like, I'm going to transcribe this, and I'll click record, and I'll start talking. Because a lot of times it's easier for me to talk copy than to write it. So that's another kind of trick of the trade, is to do that. So those are kind of some of the things that I do. I hope that helps from some actual application process, Okay, so with that said, I think that's all the groundwork I wanted to cover. And for the rest of the time, I want to go into here and actually kind of just talk my way through it with you so you understand what I'm looking for at each thing and kind of how it works. Okay. So again, the sales letter is not done. I just did a little bit of it last night just to kind of prepare this for you to get it moving. And then the rest of it we'll just kind of talk through. So the very first thing on any good sales letter, sales video is a pattern interrupt. If you've ever studied NLP, it talks about how everything we do is patterns, right? You wake up in the morning, you get in the shower, and when you get out of the shower, how do you dry yourself? Okay, if you think next time about how you dry yourself with your towel, every single day, I guarantee you that you dry yourself the exact same way. You start with your head, then your foot, then whatever the thing is, you do the same thing. When you drive to the office, you jump in your car, and next thing you know, you're in the office. Like your brain slips into these patterns where it's doing things, right? And so what happens is the big issue you have that you're competing against is that when you're sending out video sales letters, things like that, people are sitting behind their desk, they're in their comfort zone, they're in their pattern, and they've got this pattern. The pattern's not to buy. Well, some people it is. But for the most people, their pattern's not to go and just buy stuff, right? And so when you understand that, you got to figure out they're in their pattern, they're in their comfort zone. I've got to get them. I got to figure out how to break that pattern, how to interrupt them to get them to pay attention to me. Okay? Because you got like literally seconds to get somebody. I was reading a study the other day about how in the 80s, the average attention span of a human was 20 minutes. Okay, that's back when, the mailman would show up once a day. You might get 1 or 2 phone calls a day, and, that whatever it was, but that attention span was 20 minutes. Okay, and so you could write copy a lot differently back then than you can nowadays. Back then you could just have super long form sales letters. Then it'd be that exciting because people had 20 minutes at a time they could focus on things. Anyway, the study said that right now the average attention span of an American is 7 seconds. 7 seconds, that's less than a gnat, okay? Every 7 seconds, you're getting a text or a Facebook message or an email or something, and you're losing this. And so you've got to do something so good. You're going to grab this person by the shirt in the first like 5 seconds and like shake them and be like, listen to me because I got something cool to tell you. Okay, and if you don't have that pattern interrupt, you'll watch your video sales letters and someone will start watching it in the first 5 seconds, boom, they're gone. Like it's amazing how short our attention spans are nowadays. And so the pattern interrupt is one of the keys, probably one of the most important parts. Back when we did more sales letters, the headline is typically the pattern interrupt. But typically with a video sales letter, I don't even have a headline. Okay, so I'm starting with something else to grab them really, really quickly. Okay, and so it can be a lot of things. For me, for this .com Secrets X video, it was this cartoon that kind of grabs you and you're like, what in the world is happening, right? It's different, it's unique, it's a pattern interrupt. I've seen a lot of really good sales videos. In fact, if you go to ClickBank and look through their sales videos, there's a guy that's named John Benson who's got a really cool software that writes video sales letters for people. And it's kind of funny, like his pattern interrupt are always like stuff like, I've seen in the diet market, like, and then a lot of people copy the dating market and things like that. Like, for example, I saw one in the dating market the other day that was like, hey, here's a goldfish. What does goldfish have to do with you getting more chicks? Well, I'll tell you more about that in a second. But first, and then moves on, right? And I've seen another one. Hey, what does this two-headed buffalo have to do with you losing weight? I'll tell you more in a second. They show some weird picture just to like interrupt your pattern, right? And all his videos and all his students' videos are always tied to that. They always have like some crazy weird picture at the beginning that grabs your attention, they move on, okay? And pictures are great for this. I mean, sometimes they're even better than videos. If you think about Facebook, like what works are images that people are like, what in the world? Banner ads, the native ad networks, it's the weird pictures that grab people, okay? So for the Supplement Secrets course, what I want to do is I posted these pictures on Facebook a little while ago. I'm like obsessed with supplements. I take I don't know, probably 100 supplements every single morning. It takes me almost an hour to get them out of the bottles and put them in and get the whole thing. So one day I posted some pictures of like my supplement drawer and then like the all of them laid out on the table, and then like when I take all the pills out and put them in their things, what they all look like, and it's insane. There's like anyway, I posted on Facebook and everyone thought I was a drug addict or all these things, and people tell me like, well, Russell, if you just ate healthy, you wouldn't have to worry about supplements, and it caused controversy. Like, it was really funny, and that's what I want, something weird like that. So my video sales letter, my pattern interrupts, going to start with me with a picture of all those crazy supplements, and just be like, yes, this is me, and yes, I take all those supplements every day. But before I tell you why, let me ask you a question. Okay, so boom, pattern interrupt's not long, but it's just long enough to grab their attention and get them to focus on you. Okay, to shut off, to ignore their buddy on Skype, to ignore all the other things that are happening around them and just focus on you, because they're like, I got to figure out why in the world this dude is taking all the supplements, okay? I got to figure out why this two-headed fish is going to help me get more girls, or whatever the thing is, right? But having a good pattern interrupt is really the key, okay? All right, so that's the first thing. Second thing I like to transition to, because as soon as you grab their attention, then you got to feel like, what are their core desires? Okay, every market, they've got core desires. If you look at this, the video sales that are back here, this is for the make money, like the business opportunity market, okay? So what are their core desire questions, okay? The core desires. Have you ever wanted to work from home? Yeah, these guys all want to work from home. That's their goal, okay? If you want to own your own business? Yes, all these guys want to own their own business, okay? And then I kind of tease them like, come on, you want that lifestyle, the one that everyone talks about, where you can work at home in your underwear or on a beach in a beach with your laptop. Okay, these are the things like the business opportunity market. Like these are their core desires. They want to work from home. They want to work from the beach and the laptop. They don't want to be doing what everyone else is doing. And so I'm going to address that. Like, as soon as I get their attention, like, hey, let me ask you a question. And I always start mine. I've got a quick question for you. If you watch any of my videos, I usually say that. I've got a quick question for you. And I ask them some questions. Okay. For this one, again, I haven't quite finished. I haven't quite finalized my core desire questions yet. But for the supplement business, these are typically less business opportunity people and more people who are health and fitness, and they want to, things like that. And so, my questions, again, these aren't good yet. These were me kind of typing last night for a little bit, trying to just get some structure here for you guys. But it could be something like, hey, do you want to start a company? Do you want to launch a company online? Would you like to have a company that literally changes people's lives forever and pays you what you're worth? Okay. So again, I'm gonna nurse those before they're done, but something kind of like that. Okay, so for you, you got to figure out like what's your market's core desires. Okay, everyone's got them. There's only the reason why people buy is because of desire. So what are those core desires? And I want to ask them about those, because if I can do that, they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, I want to work from home. That'd be awesome. Yes, I want my own business. Yes, I want that lifestyle. Okay, so I'm trying to really get them and to grab them, because now I'm speaking to them directly. Okay. If you can speak to them directly, now, again, I use the pattern interrupt to grab their attention. Now I'm speaking to them, and now they're engaged. Okay. And then next thing I want to do is I know that this is not their first time. Typically, they've seen a video or watched a sales letter or have tried to fix this problem. Okay. Sometimes it's the first time, but traditionally, people have been trying to lose weight for a long time. They've been trying to make money for a long time. Okay. And so after you start speaking to this, for a minute, you're going to get their attention, be like, wow, like this guy gets me. But then what's going to happen? As soon as you do that, then they're going to be like, boom, skeptic comes up like, no, wait, this person's trying to, I've done this before. I've been on this road before. And so instead of like trying to hide that, I like to agitate their past failures. Okay. So for example, right here, the supplement thing, I'm going to guess that if they're trying to start a supplement business, they probably tried to start other businesses in the past that maybe haven't been successful. So I'm going to agitate that. Okay. So you tired of trying to make an honest buck online only to feel like you're running in circles and have nothing to actually show for it? Have you tried affiliate marketing with little no success? Have you tried to create your own info products but nobody buys them? Have you tried building lists but you can't get any opt-ins worth bragging about? Have you tried to create content but nobody's really interested in it? Have you tried to sell any kind of info product or software but just doesn't get any kind of traction? Okay, so for this one, I'm talking about specific failures too, because I know that a lot of you guys were affiliate marketers, so I'm talking about that. A lot of you guys try info products, talking about that, list building, content development, info product software. So I'm speaking to the failures that I know that most of my market have failed at one of these at least, and I'm bringing it up. Okay, down here is kind of, I like this one too. So why has this happened for you yet? Agitating past failures. What's wrong with you, right? Come on, admit it. This isn't the first time you've been looking for approval to make money, is it? When's it your turn? My guess is this. You saw some. This is like my favorite. This is my favorite sales letter I've ever written. But let me guess. You saw someone online promising you riches untold, but there was a catch. Doesn't seem like there's always a catch. You have to pay hundreds or thousands of dollars to get started, right? Before you make any money. Don't they know that that's why you're there? Because you need money? Doesn't seem like if all these gurus' courses and software are so good and they really believe in them, why don't they just give you their money making system? Then after you've made the money, then they would get paid. Okay. All right. So this paragraph right here has made me insane amounts of money for a couple of reasons. One of them, I remember I've heard a lot of copywriters tell me in the past, like really good guys who say, if you gotta get inside the mind of your audience and really speak to them, right? And it was funny. We used to have a call center with 60 full-time sales guys, and we recorded every single phone call they ever did. And so I'd go back and I would spot check messages, make sure my guys are compliant, that they're selling things the right way and everything. So I listen to these messages, and it was amazing how many times people would tell our sales guys like, "Well, if this system's so good, why don't you just let me have it for free and I'll pay you from the money I make?" Like they would say that over and over and over again. And at first it really annoyed me. It drove me crazy. I was like, "Dude, you gotta play. You gotta pay to play." And it made me so mad. And then I remember one day I was like, everyone's saying this, like, I need to speak to that. So I wrote this copy. I spoke to that. Because that's what they're thinking anyway, right? And so it's part of my agitating the past failures is that, like, you have to pay hundreds of thousands of, this isn't your first time down this path before, and you probably got told there's going to be awesome before, but there was a catch, and there's always some kind of catch, and you got to pay all this money, like, and then it doesn't seem like if all those gurus' courses and software work so good and you really believe them, why don't they just give you their money-making system? Then after you've made money, then they'd get paid. Same thing you get with weight loss. Like, if all these guys' weight loss programs work so good, why don't they just give you their weight loss program, and after you lose weight, then charge you? You can speak to that on pretty much any market, you guys. Like, people are thinking that right now. They're all thinking, like, this is so good, why don't you just give it to me and I'll pay you when it works? Okay, so I love bringing that up. So it's something you can definitely use. This one worked really good too because I use this throughout the whole pitch in the sales letter. Because eventually at the end of it, we give a free trial, and I say try it out for 14 days, and I'm only if you don't make money in 14 days, cancel and won't bill you anything. But if you do make money, then stay on and we'll keep helping you. And that's what it's kind of a cool hook that we used in there. All right, so does that make sense? To agitating past failures. So I'm agitating their past failures. And then from there, I transitioned to the one big promise. Okay, I learned this from Perry Belcher originally. He told me that whenever they had a sales video or a sales letter that would make 2 or 3 big promises, it always tanked. It didn't work. He said that they had to only focus on one big promise. If they had one big promise, it would work. Okay, again, as soon as they introduced 2 or 3, it would bomb. Okay, my problem, or my guess is that if you've done this stuff in the past, most of your sales letters are probably promising a bunch of different things. Okay, you cannot do that. You've got to figure out, like, what's the one core message. And I know that your product's gonna have a bunch of stuff in there. It doesn't matter. You got to figure out the one thing. The one thing is the key. Okay, this is the same concept I talked about in the upsell script. Like the one thing that's the most important, the only thing that's important. You figure out what's the one thing that you're promising these guys. Okay, because people can wrap their mind around one thing and be inspired by one thing. But if you tell them, I'm going to teach you this and this and this, it's not going to help them. So what's the one big result, the one huge thing that you're going to be able to get for somebody? Okay, that you can do for them. Okay, so for here, I started this one. The next few minutes, I'm going to show you guys a simple business I created from scratch that's literally allowed me to blah, 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 whatever it is. Okay, and I've got a video here where I was actually at my shipping warehouse, and I talk about how this business has been the easiest in the world, way easier than InfoPro. Everything else I've done has been the easiest business we've been able to scale. And I kind of talk about like, I'm going to show you guys how to build this business. Okay, and so think about like what's the end result you're getting for somebody, or you want to get for somebody, and that's the big promise you're going to plug in. You're going to plug in right here. Okay, after you've dropped you kind of dropped the bomb. Here's the big promise. Here's what you're going to get. I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do this. Okay, now you've hooked them. They're like, sweet, I want that big result. I want that one thing. Then you do. I learned this initially from Mark Joyner. He called it the I'm gonna slaughter the pronunciation. The Zeigarnik effect. I think that's how you say it. I know I said that wrong, but he wrote a book called Mind Control Marketing. He was my first mentor online, and I remember in that book he talked about this, and he talked about how when you're writing copy or doing anything that you need to use the Zeigarnik effect. I think I might have said that right that time. Anyway, if not, it's close enough. But the concept behind it is he talked about it's similar to the NLP, the concept of opening and closing loops. Right? You open a loop, like you open up something in someone's head. Like, I'm going to show you guys this business that makes me $20,000 a day and how I was able to get into it for less than $100. Okay, so I open this loop. They are really excited, but then I don't close the loop. I say, but before I share with you that, I want to say hi. I want to introduce you to the attractive character. Okay, so it's kind of like soap operas or reality shows or whatever it is you watch, where they're like, this big huge thing's about to happen, and then they cut to commercial break, and you're like, I gotta see what's happening. So you sit through this whole commercial break, you watch all these dumb ads, and you come back to figure out the answer, and then they close the loop, so they answer that thing for you. But somewhere in the interim between where they open the loop and they answered it, so let's say I open a loop right here, I'm not gonna close this promise down until maybe here somewhere. But during that interim, I've opened up a new loop, and then I've closed it. So throughout this whole thing, I'm opening and closing loops, and that pulls somebody through the whole thing. Okay, does that make sense? Like even right here, the initial pattern interrupt. Yes, this is me, and I take all these supplements every day. But before I tell you why, let me ask you a question. Boom, I opened a loop. Okay, I'm gonna tell you why, but before I do, let me ask you a question. Okay, open a loop. Now their mind is like the human mind likes completion, likes everything finished, and so it drives them crazy. Like why does he take all these supplements? What is he doing? Okay, like when I posted on Facebook, people were going crazy. Like, why are you doing this? Why don't you just eat healthy? Russell, you're killing yourself. All these people's things. And I didn't respond back for a while because I wanted to open this loop and just see. And people were going nutso. And that's what you want. You want to open these loops and close them. Open, close them, open, close them. Okay? So open with a pattern interrupt here. And then I'll close that one probably back here in my backstory. But in the interim, I've opened a new loop right here, which will be closed down here. Does that make sense? So I'm opening and closing loops throughout. And again, Mark called that the Zeigarnik effect. He may watch this video someday, and I'm sure if he does, he'll Facebook me and be like, Russell, you slaughtered the pronunciation. Anyway, that's the concept, okay? All right, so I look at the big result, make the big promise. I drop the bomb. This is what you're going to get by watching this video. So I'm going to show you by the end. Now, boom, then you transition into the star. So for me, again, I haven't finished this yet, but one thing that people always tell me is like, well, Russell, you got the most expensive pee in the neighborhood. Every time you pee, it costs you $45 or whatever it is, right? Because all the vitamins I take. So I'm going to introduce myself as a star here because again, I'm talking about how I take all the supplements and how I have a supplement business. So I'm going to be like, anyway, I've been told more than once that I have probably the most expensive pee on earth. And again, I'm going to introduce myself, and this is where I introduce the star. Okay, if you look back here in this, after I talk about this whole thing, then I intro myself. Hi, my name is Russell Brunson, and and I dig into who I am now. So I'm introducing the star. Okay, this is where your job with this is to build a relationship with them. Okay, people buy from people they like, so you're trying to introduce and again, hopefully you've gone through some of my attractive character training and things like that. But you're introducing an attractive character. Okay, this is you. And if you've gone through the attractive character training, there's different roles and stuff. There's like the reluctant hero. There's the reporter, the evangelist. There's different character types, and so you kind of pick which one fits for you. I'm a big fan of the reluctant hero, especially in sales videos. The reluctant hero is kind of the thing of like, hey, I wasn't trying to be the dude to teach people how to start supplements. I just take a lot of supplements, and I started selling supplements, made a ton of money, sold that company for even more money, and everyone keeps asking me, so I just wanted to share with you how this whole thing works. Okay, so I'm introducing the star of the story. Okay, and again, sometimes the star is going to be you, sometimes it's going to be one of your students, it's going to be whoever the listener or the viewer is going to resonate with the most and be able to have the best who they're gonna kind of, how do I say this right, like when I come down here to the backstory, like the backstory is going to pick up in the attractive character's life at the same spot that this person is probably in right now. Okay, so like if this was a weight loss product, the star, it's like, hey, my name is Russell Brunson. Check out my 6-packs. I'm so sexy. People love me. But it didn't always used to be this way. Okay, so I'm entering the star that's kind of showing like where they could be. But then, boom, I transitioned to the story. But it wasn't always this way for me. Okay, I didn't always have a supplement business making me $20,000 a day. But let me show you what I had to do instead. Okay, so introducing the attractive character, and then boom, we transition out to the story. Okay, so you see, so part number one is the star. That's how we introduce the star. Then we transition to the story about the star. And again, the story of the star, the goal of this story is to show the path and the process of the attractive character, where they were in the same spot that the viewer's in now, and the path they had to go through to get to kind of where the big promise is at. You're taking them from here to here now through this story. Okay. All right, so the story starts here. Now, I learned this from Dagan Smith. He became obsessed for like a couple of years on storytelling and story selling, and went through some intense stuff with it. And then I remember he was talking to me. So one of the coolest things he taught me was, he said that all good stories, they start at a point of high drama. Okay, he said you don't go to a movie and they start this movie and they start, so and so's born and then this happened, and 15 minutes in they're like, and then this crazy thing happened. No, because that's like, you're bored. You missed the whole point. They're not going to watch the whole movie, right? They start the movie with the crazy thing happening. So you're like, whoa, what just happened? And then they go back in time, and then they fill in the backstory. They got them to that point of high drama. Okay, so I always think like in the story of the star, what's the point of high drama? For example, one of my friends, he used to weigh like almost 400 pounds, I think. He was a big dude. And he told me that when he decided to lose weight, he's with his family at an amusement park, and he sat on one of the roller coasters, and the guys could not connect the thing; it wouldn't snap shut, and so they had to lift it up, and he had to get off, and he had to do the walk of shame back, and all these little kids were laughing at him, pointing, and his kids were super embarrassed because he couldn't fit in the roller coaster thing. Okay, now if I was selling a weight loss product, that would be my point of high drama. I'd be like, hey, here's so-and-so, I've got a 6-pack, I'm awesome right now. But it didn't always used to be this way. In fact, 4 years ago, I took my kids to the amusement park because we were really excited. And when we were there, they wanted to go on whatever the ride is, the amazing roller coaster. In fact, I even have a picture of it. Here's a picture of it. And we were really excited, and I got in, and we sat in the seat. I tried to connect it, and the thing wouldn't snap. And the guy kept pushing on. He could not get it to snap. He said, sorry, sir, you're too big to ride this ride. And he lifted it up, and I got off. And as I was walking back, I remember looking over, and at first I noticed the other kids pointing and laughing at me, which hurt. But then I looked over and I saw my own kids, and their embarrassment about me was a lot worse. Like that was something I couldn't take anymore. It felt like somebody had kicked me in the gut, and I had so much pain that I knew that I had to make. Well, I'm not gonna I'm jumping ahead, but anyway, see how I'm doing? Like I'm sharing that backstory that's bringing them into an emotional, painful part of my life. That then I can that hopefully someone else is like, either they've gone through something similar, or they're scared, they don't want to go through that. Like, wow, that was really bad. Like that's the path I'm on if I don't change, right? I'm sharing this point of high drama. Okay, and one thing, if you notice when I tell stories, it's something else I learned from Dagan. A lot of people tell stories like, yeah, so I got off the thing, I didn't fit, and it was really embarrassing. Okay, that's like a surface level. And to draw emotion, you've got to dig deeper. Okay, so instead of saying, hey, I got off the thing and it didn't work, I got off and I walked back and I couldn't ride the roller coaster and that sucked. I dig deeper, and then how did I feel? And I talk about my feelings, like I felt this like pit in my stomach that got bigger, and it was painful, and the sweat in my hands was beating up, and I could feel like my face getting red and flushed. Like you start trying to describe how you felt, and when you do that, people feel what you're talking about. Okay, a big key of this, you guys, to copy is becoming good at stories, and it's not just talking at a surface level. It's digging deeper. It's not saying this is how I felt. It's actually describing how you felt. Okay, describing what your body felt like and how your hands felt and your head and your whatever those things are. You got to explain those. Just like a good novelist, tells all those kind of things. They don't just, you look at some of these books. They're huge novels, and 90% of it's just the author describing how the person's feeling. And so you got to start doing that when you're telling these stories, because that's what's going to suck somebody in. Okay, so there's the point of high drama, and then here I even open another loop, and as I was walking off, I realized that it didn't always used to be this way. 23 years ago, I was in great shape. I was an athlete. I did all sorts of things, and da 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 da. But then, so you're telling the backstory to kind of fill up the point of high drama. In this backstory, somewhere in the backstory, boom, you hit a wall. Okay. And every one of us hits a wall, right? I hit a wall financially. I hit a wall with my dating life, with my business, with my weight loss. Something happened. Like, what was that thing? You hit this wall, and you realize you couldn't get past it, right? And so, what is that wall for you guys? Because this is the wall. This is the stumbling block that your people are probably dealing with right now. Okay, so you got to identify with the wall that you hit, because it's probably the wall they're at right now. This is my guess. Usually people buy stuff about this point in their journey. Okay? So you see what I'm doing? Like, I'm taking this journey with them, and while my journey might not be identical to theirs, if it's similar, they will relate. And if I was able to break through this wall and go through this process here, and they believe me, then they're going to want to come on that journey with me, and they're going to give me money down here. Okay, but it's key that I'm taking them on this story here. Okay, so I start a high drama, I then tell my backstory, how I got to that point, the wall I hit, and then when you hit this wall, that's right here, then you identify the problem. I realized that my problem wasn't because I was an overweight guy. Okay, my problem was this. Okay, what's the problem? It wasn't that I was that I was dumber than anyone else. Like, I was as smart as the next guy, but the problem that I figured out was this. Okay, so you identify the problem. This was the problem. Okay, and again, it's good to make these. Typically, you want your problems to be more prolific than just. And I'd say as a whole with your thing, if your solution is like, hey, you should eat the 4 food groups, not prolific. Okay, I have a concept I call the prolific index that I've taken people through in the past. In fact, let me see if I can find it real quick. Give me 1 second to pull that up. Sweet, I found it. So this is the prolific index. So in the middle here is called the mainstream. This is like the 4 food groups, or you need to exercise, or you need to invest your money better, right? This is mainstream, okay? There's $0 in the mainstream. No one's going to pay you money to teach them about the 4 food groups. No one's going to teach you money about the mainstream, right? The stuff they can get in school, okay? Then over here on the side, this is called the crazy zone, and there's a crazy zone on both directions, okay? The crazy zone is like to lose weight, to get liposuction, right? Like, go get lipo. Like, the doctor will cut you open and he will scrape the fat out of your body with a knife. Okay, this is like the crazy, and obviously people do make money there, but you're not gonna make money teaching this kind of a concept, right? It was somewhere between being mainstream and being crazy. There's this little spot in the middle that I call the prolific zone, and in the prolific zone, this is where you make a crap ton of money. Okay, and crap ton is a technical term. This is where the money comes from. All right, and so, like, for example, I look at the weight loss industry, right? You got 4 food groups right here, boom. You've got like crazy surgeries over here. Right here in the middle, this is drink butter in your coffee and you lose a lot of money. Okay, Dave Asprey, a Bulletproof executive, is in the prolific zone. He's making tens of millions of dollars right now by teaching this. Okay, melt butter in your coffee and drink that and you'll lose weight. Okay, like, again, it's infringing on crazy, but it's not crazy yet. And it's definitely not mainstream. It's right in the middle. This is the prolific zone. This is where the money comes in, okay? And this is standing from your products you create. This is coming from your copy, from everything. Like, you want to be in the prolific zone. If you can hit here, this is where you make your money, okay? If you look at, like, with ClickFunnels, when we launched it, we launched a webinar called Funnel Hacker. And, initially it was like, it was very mainstream, like here, we can build out landing pages. Boom, boring, mainstream, no money there. And then there's like the crazy zone over here, which I don't know where that would be in this, but we did this thing called Funnel Hacker where it's like, hey, you go to find someone's sites, you hack them ethically. I guess the crazy zone would be unethically, like just stealing people's stuff. The prolific zone is like, here's an ethical way to funnel hack people and get all the information and model their funnel, boom, boom. Okay, we hit the right nerve here and went from 0 to $3 million in almost overnight because we hit the right prolific zone. Okay, so there's a bonus I wasn't planning on sharing, but I hope it helps. All right, so I share that because the problem, again, you want your problems to be prolific, okay? Again, you want to share something cool. Now, after you identify the problem, this is where there's two different paths at this point, okay? For some of you guys, this is where you're introducing a new concept to the audience, okay? And again, I learned this from Dagan, where he calls it epiphany. Like, I had an epiphany, and that's when I realized this, like this new idea, this new concept. Like, wow, all I need to do was this. Okay, this is where they have an epiphany. Okay, and so you guys know what epiphany is. But that's one path the sales leader can take. Is I had this epiphany. All I needed to do was this. Okay, or the other direction, instead of epiphany, is what I call the Declaration of Independence, where I was so frustrated and so fed up. I said, today it has to change. Okay, and so for me, it kind of depends on what I'm selling. If I'm selling a new concept or new idea to somebody, I'm typically going with an epiphany because I got to explain this new concept, this new idea to them, and sell them in on that idea, sell them on that concept. Okay, or if I'm trying to get these people to make a stand and say, look, you've been trying a whole bunch of stuff in the past, but today it's going to change. Today you're going to do like what I did, where I took a Declaration of Independence and I said, today it will change. From now on, it's going to be different. Then that's what I'm gonna do, okay? So that's the difference. If I've got a new unique idea, I go epiphany. If not, then I go Declaration of Independence. So one of these two directions, both of them work. You just gotta figure out which one fits for your story here, okay? All right, so I share my epiphany. My big epiphany was all I need to do is put butter inside of my coffee. If I did that, I'd lose a ton of weight, right? Or my Declaration of Independence, I decided that this is my friend that got stuck in the roller coaster. Like he identified the problem that I was severely obese, and the reason why was less about this but more about this, whatever the problem was. And that day I made the choice that I will never feel this pain again, and I'm going to change, because that look that was in my kids' eyes of embarrassment about me was never going to happen again. Okay, boom. The attractive character takes his Declaration of Independence, or he shares his epiphany, whatever that is. Then you start talking about the path. Okay, this is the journey that you had to go on. Okay, this little picture here is a slide or a path. It looked kind of like bacon the first time we drew it, so I had to tweak it a little bit, but it's not bacon, it's a little slide. It's the path to the ultimate solution. So this is where you tell your story. So, so this is what I tried. Okay, and because people, again, they want to hear your journey. So you're telling your journey, like, so at first I decided I was going to do this. I was going to, and I tried this, and I was going down this thing, and I was trying, and my guess is that your path is probably similar to the path that they're either on or they've been trying. And so you share that, like, this is what I went through, and it sucked, and it was hard, and whatever it might be. But then something happened. Then I started having my first sign of success. That was cool. That I got on the scale, and boom, I lost some weight, or I made my first dollar online, or for the first time in my life, this thing happened, right? You're sharing this experience that is an emotional experience. Like, I know that the things in my life, I know when I made my first dollar, I remember that feeling, and it was tangible for me, okay? So if I was sharing like a beginning story, I would share that. I know the first time our company made over $1 million a year, I remember that sign of success. If I was doing like a business growth, I would talk about that, okay? If I was losing weight, if I was financial planning, if I was hair loss, if I was a supplement, whatever the first signs of success. So we start taking this, and boom, all of a sudden I felt the difference. So you share your first signs of success. This is where they start getting hope with you. And then you got to come back and because some of you guys may, so again, there's some on this path. Some had some success, some haven't. They're having some kind of thing. The next thing that I like to do is I like to switch over and let them know that, like, what you've gone through so far is not your fault. Like, after I had some success, I realized that it wasn't me. It wasn't me that was having this issue. It was because of this. Like, everyone believes that there's some other reason why they're not having success. And so you got to kind of speak to that. Like, the reason why I was having success is I'd been told the wrong information. Okay? For years, I've been told that I need to do this, this, and this. It wasn't until I did this over here that I realized these guys were completely wrong. In fact, not only were they wrong, not only was it not helping me, it was hurting me. Okay? So what's the conspiracy? What's the conspiracy? Like what information did they not have that was keeping them from actually having the success that they wanted? Does that make sense? Okay. So I share the conspiracy. Then from here I come back and again I don't, it's not your fault. So sorry, let me step back. So I share the conspiracy. This is the issue that I had. Okay. I realized that it was because it was because the government's hiding all this stuff, and they don't want you, they don't like saturated fats, and they didn't want to tell you that butter is good for you. They, they make more money because of this. And so I found that that for you is that this is a big lie that I got stuck in and you got stuck in, and it's not your fault. Okay? So you're helping them. You're taking blame off of their shoulders. Okay? This is not your fault. You need to understand the pain you're feeling right now, the reason why you have not succeeded at this point, it's not your fault. It's because of someone else. It's because of a common enemy. Who is the common enemy? Okay? All of you guys, there's your audience has a common enemy they share with you. You got to figure out who that is. Who is that common enemy that they have? Okay, is it the government? Is it the financial institutions? Is it the big bad gurus? Is it the big pharma? Like what is it? Who's the common enemy? And you got to blame them. In fact, I want to find something really cool. Give me 1 second to pause this. Okay, so this comes from a book called The One Sentence Persuasion Course by Blair Warren, which is worth the $3.99 it costs. Like, go buy it. It's awesome. But this is the sentence right here. It says, people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them throw rocks to their enemies. Okay, that's powerful. 20-word sentence right here contains 5 most important insights that he's ever seen. This is awesome, you guys. First off, you encourage their dreams, you justify their failures, you allay their fears, you confirm their suspicions, you help them throw rocks to their enemies. Okay, this is the key to this right here, you guys. Right here, okay? We are this whole thing process. We're encouraging their dreams, we're justifying their failures, we're lying their fears, we're confirming their suspicions, we're helping them throw rocks to their enemies. That's why this part of the script is so powerful. Okay, all right. So yeah, get this book. It's awesome. All right. So back to this. So help them throw rocks at the common enemy. So. Again, in the supplement industry, we always talk about like big pharma, like they're the ones that did this and did this, or weight loss industry. A lot of times it's the government or it's the food institutions, it's whatever. A lot of times in the internet marketing world, they talk about the big bad gurus who are holding people back who just want money, like whatever it is. In your market, there's a common enemy. Okay, with chiropractors, it's medical doctors. Who is the common enemy? You got to blame them and throw rocks at them. Okay. All right, so this is the part where you're really doing that whole one sentence persuasion is all happening right here. It's magical. After that, then you come back and you say, because now right here we're talking about your first signs of success. So now I want to show that that's where it started at, but then this is what happened next. Then this happened, and start going through like here's the process of all the things that happened and how it went from here to here, and you increase that and make it really, really awesome. Okay, and then from here now you transition to because it's cool it worked for you. People want to know that. But even in their head, they're like, well, you're Superman, you're Russell Brunson, you're whoever you are, you're you. Of course it worked for you, but it's not gonna work for me. So then you transition over to, but it didn't just work for me. So I started sharing this with my friends. I did it for Susie, and look what happened to her. I did it to Mike, and look what happened here. And this is where you're sharing how it works for other people besides you. You can't show the process. And now all of a sudden, like, wow, this, it's not just him, it's working for other people as well. Okay. And then we transition to, this is something again I learned from Dagan Smith, like the hidden benefits. Because let's say it's weight loss. They know they're losing weight, right? Like that's like the obvious benefit. Okay. But there's, and the same thing, like in a make money thing, of course they're making money. That's the benefit. But what you want to talk about now are the hidden benefits, the other things they're going to get from this that they don't even know they're going to get. Okay. So for me, I'd say, I lost all the weight and that was awesome. I was able to do things. But the other benefits I got that I didn't realize is when I lost weight, I was able to get a better job. When I lost weight, I was able to get a prettier girlfriend. When I lost weight, like here's all the other things that happened because of this change that happened back here. Okay. I had friends with a guy who sold a hair loss product. And what was funny is they, in the sales letter for it, they talked about hidden benefits. The big benefit, I got hair, sweet. The hidden benefits were like, look at my girlfriend now, look at this, and I got a raise at work, and I got like all these other things they got because of that transformation. Okay, and these are all things that they secretly wanted, but they haven't ever given themselves permission to ever have the opportunity to have those. And when you share, like, here's the benefits I got, all of a sudden they start dreaming, like, wow, I could get a raise in my job. I didn't even think about those things, right? So you share all the hidden benefits that are going to come when they have this transformation. Okay, the transformation, the result they're going to get from back here. All right, so that's the story. So at this point, we've taken them on this journey. They have related to you or your attractive character. They have gone on this journey with you. You've shown them that you're on the same journey as them. They have perfect empathy with you. You show them what you did to change, how you had success, how from that success you realized whose fault it really was, okay, which comes back here to the one sentence persuasion course. Wasn't their fault, and then you had more success, and you showed other people they had success. Here's all these cool hidden benefits that came from it. And now, here's the point in this copy now where we transition to the solution, okay? So here's all hidden benefits, and it's amazing. The results have been awesome. Now, because of what happened from here and because of all the benefits, people kept asking me, they wanted help as well. And so we decided to create something to help you. We transition over here. And so because of that, we created, boom, whatever it is. Here's the formula introduction. We created how to lose 1 million pounds in 5 seconds, okay? We created the financial investing course to do this. We created the chiropractic adjustment that magically heals everything, right? Whatever it is. Here's a formal introduction to your product, to the solution that you are going to give them, product or service, okay? And then, so you say, here it is. And as soon as you show it to them, they're like, oh, cool, but like I can go figure that out. I saw what he went through here. I can go do that as well. Okay, that's the next thoughts come in their head. So then you got to come back and say, look, you got to talk about the pain and the cost that it took you to create this. Otherwise, they're going to think, oh, I can figure it out. He figured it out. I can figure it out. You say, look, so here's my formal introduction. I'm going to give you guys my new product, Supplement Secrets Training course. Now, obviously, you could go out there and you could go and try to figure this stuff out on your own. But I want to share with you that for me, it took us 23 months before our supplement was above break even. 23 months. Okay, that's almost 2 years. 2 years of my life, and the costs were $135,000 we spent before we made even. Okay, so you talk about like how much pain and cost. So also they're like, wow, I don't want to spend the next 23 months or $100,000 figuring it out. Okay, so you're showing them what you had to go through, like the sacrifices you had to make to learn to get this information or this tool or this service. Okay, because that's going to justify the cost down here as well. Okay, and then next you want to talk to them about the ease and the speed for them. So this is how hard it was for me, but now that it's done, the coolest thing is that you can just plug into this and it's not going to be hard at all. Like what took me 23 months, you can do in 23 days because it's so easy, because of how fast it is. And you're not going to have to go through all the headaches and the hassles and all the things I had to go through because I've created the system for you. Now it's easy. You just plug into it and boom, it works. So you get the ease and the speed that I didn't have. Okay, you're going to shave off years of headaches, hundreds of thousands of dollars because of this thing. Okay, sounds like sweet. A lot of pain, I don't want that. A lot of ease, I do want that. Then go over here to the benefits. Now I call these so benefits. A lot of times people have benefits like, oh, the benefit is that you're going to run faster. Okay, that's a benefit, but like I like having so benefits. So the benefit is you're going to run faster. So that way you can whatever it is. So I always have a benefit, and I add the word "so" afterwards that makes it very tangible. Okay, you got a benefit that you're gonna lose a ton of weight. So that way, next time you go to a beach, the ladies are gonna be all over you, right? You're gonna be able to make a whole bunch of extra money. So that way, you can donate more money to charity or help people around you or help your parents, whatever that is. So I list 4 or 5 or 6 different benefits, and I always have a "so" in there. So I list the benefit and I say "so," and then I give this tangible thing that they can relate to that gets them excited. Okay, so my "so" benefits. Then I come back down here and I start sharing social proof. Okay, so here I'm talking about case studies. Here's more social proof, like other people. So it's kind of like it's more of this, more case studies. But I like having social, and social used to be just like case study testimonials. But a lot of times I like having, if you have pictures of people on Facebook who would comment like, "This is amazing, this is awesome," whatever it is. Like pulling in their screenshots of Facebook. In fact, over here, if you look down here, these are like Facebook screenshots we have in here, and these things make this thing convert like crazy. And so we have these in here. So what I'd say is like, if you got, any kind of proof you can have in there, like, hey, for example, this is Aaron. Aaron had never, and he made $72 in 4 hours, and then there's Steven, and same kind of thing. He made 400 personal sales. I mean, this person, and kind of go through all those things, right? So social proof that this whole thing works. Okay, they want belief that it works, and then I make an offer. So what I'm gonna do today for you guys is I'm gonna let you guys have access to my entire muscle blasting, butter eating, awesomeness investing system, whatever it is, right? Making you an offer. And this is what you are going to get. Boom, I start building the value. First thing you're going to get is you're going to get this. Then you're going to get this. Then you're going to get this. And kind of go through all the things. Okay? If you've gone through my perfect webinar training, this is like a very condensed version of the stack. Okay? I still kind of use the stack, but it's a very condensed version in a video sales letter because you have a lot less time. On a webinar, we've got 90 minutes typically. We're in a sales video, we got about 20 minutes. So it's very compressed. What we're doing, okay? So I come back here and I build value. So the first thing I make the offer, you're gonna get my awesome system, plus you're gonna get this, plus you're gonna get this, plus you're gonna get this, plus you're gonna get all the things you're gonna get, okay? And I build value. Now, one core thing I wanna mention, when I make this offer needs to be tied to whatever the big promise is, right? Okay, we talked about before, like the one thing. This offer can't be like, my 16-step system to, or I guess it could. It can't be like, you're going to get this and this and this, and they're separate things. It needs to be, look, you're going to get this amazing thing that's going to solve this one thing, okay? Plus, I'm going to give you some bonuses on top of it, and then you kind of stack on these bonuses. But my offer is really tied to the one thing. Like, here's the one big result you want. You want to learn how to get a six-pack. I'm going to give you guys my truth about abs six-pack thing, right? Or I'm going to give you my, whatever it is, right? My butter six-pack system or something like that. Anyway, so I make the offer, and then I add on these are bonuses that, again, you don't spend a ton of time on these because if you do, they will detract from this. But you have them like, I'm also going to give you this, and we'll give you this awesome thing, and this awesome thing, and this awesome thing, and that'll make this whole package here, okay? And then I assign a value to this and all these things, kind of like in a webinar. Okay, the total value if you add all these things together is going to be $3,214. Now, obviously, I'm not going to charge you $3,000, but and I come over to my if-all statements. So if-all statements are basically, I take this fake price that I gave them, okay, the big value, and then I need people to believe that this product is worth that. If they don't believe it's worth the big value, they're not going to pay the small value. Okay, so I say, look, obviously, I'm not going to charge you $3,000, but that's the value of this stuff. But I need to ask you a question before I move on. If all that this did was finally give you a six-pack that you've been dreaming about for years, would it have been worth the $3,000 here? Yeah, of course it would. Now, if all this did was give you the ability to get the girl of your dreams, would it be worth this over here? If all this did would give you the ability to quit your job, would it be worth this right here? Okay, so I'm making them say yes to this price. Yes, it's worth this price here. If I get them to say yes to that, then when I show them the real price, they're going to have to say yes because they just told me it was worth $3,000 here. Okay, so the if-all statements. I usually do at least 3 if-all statements, and usually I try to do some towards pleasure and some away from pain. What I mean by that is towards pleasure is like if it's a make money thing, like some. And let me step back. This is an NLP concept as well, pleasure and pain. Okay, everyone, they make decisions in life either to move towards pleasure or away from pain. Okay, so for example, if I want to lose weight, some people are losing weight because they want to go get a hot girl, right? That's moving towards pleasure. Other people don't want other people to make fun of them, so they're moving away from pain. Okay, in the how to make money business, some people want to make money so they can have a nice house and have a sweet car. Other people just want to quit their job. They're moving towards pleasure or away from pain. Okay, now for you don't know which one your audience is more likely to resonate with. Okay, what's interesting is that most entrepreneurs, we make our decisions moving towards pleasure. Okay, it's like 90% of entrepreneurs, that's their driving force. But the masses make their decisions moving away from pain. Okay, so big problem entrepreneurs have a lot of times is we're selling people like pleasure, pleasure, pleasure because that's what sold us. But what's interesting is that most of our people, that is not their driving force. They are not trying to move towards pleasure. They're trying to get out of pain. Okay, so because of that, when I do my if-all statements, I am doing both of these. Okay, I'm giving them some things like, if all this did would give you the ability to get the girl of your dreams, would it be worth $3,000? If all this did was give you the ability to finally have those jerks at the office stop making fun of you, would it be worth it? Okay, so I'm doing both of these. I'm dropping 2 or 3 of each of these, so that way I've got some towards pleasure and away from pain. Okay, all right, which are very emotional closes, as you can tell. Then I switch over to the real price. But I'm not going to charge you $3,000. What I'm going to do right now is we're going to let you get started today for just one single payment of $47 or one single payment of $197. Okay. So up to this point, if you guys notice, everything's story-based and everything's very, very emotional, right? Very emotional driven. Okay. I reveal the price. Now, as soon as we give someone the price, they've emotionally said yes or no. Okay, they're probably already in. The next thing that happens is though, then they know in their mind like, okay, I gotta tell my wife why this is gonna show up on my credit card statement tomorrow. Okay, or I gotta tell my husband, or I gotta whatever it is. And so people, they buy emotionally, but they rationalize things logically. Okay, for example, when I got a Ferrari, I won a Ferrari. Some of you guys probably know that. And when I was out driving it, all these like car people come up to me, and because they want to like look at my car and they want to tell me about their cars. And so people come up and they've got like some nice cars like Corvettes and things like that. And it always makes me laugh because, that was like, oh yeah, I got the Corvette, mainly because of the gas mileage. Like it really gets good gas mileage. And I'm like, you are so full of crap. Like you bought this thing because you think the girls think you look better in it. That's like, it was a very emotional decision. But you told your wife and yourself that you did it because of good gas mileage, right? Okay, so we buy things emotionally, but then we rationalize them logically. And so the guarantee is Mr. Logic coming in here. So they can tell their wife the next morning, like, don't worry, if I don't lose weight, they've guaranteed that blah, 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 whatever, right? So here's where I bring the logic in. Not because it's going to, not because that's why they make the decision, but it's because that's how they rationalize the decision. So logically, I need to tie this in and say, so, I'll give a guarantee in here. Sometimes I'll talk about the logic behind, like, logically, if you lose 1 pound a week for the next you're going to get your goal, right? So I try to bring some logic in. So I usually use guarantee, and any other kind of logic I can bring in here is where I bring this in here. And that'll help them to rationalize to themselves and also to whoever they're accountable to for their checkbook or their credit card. So I guarantee the logic. Then I try to inject some scarcity. Okay, when we launched this product, we don't want to get in the hands of everybody, whatever. And so we're only doing this for X amount of copies or X amount of time or whatever it is. Or, we're going to be raising the price as soon as we get on Oprah next week, whatever it is. Oprah show is no longer online, but you know what I mean? Like some kind of scarcity, either time or money or whatever that is, something there. So I inject scarcity. So I'm like, okay, I got to move now. Because if you don't get people to take action now, they'll never come back. Like that's a big key to understand. I mean, a tiny percentage do, but most of them won't. So you've got to do whatever you can take to push someone over the edge. Like figure out some kind of scarcity. So you have hard scarcity there, and then in fact scarcity a lot of times is like this offer is good for 24 hours, and you can come back tomorrow if you want. If you come back tomorrow, all these bonuses are gone, and you only get this. Okay, but right now this is guaranteed. Or maybe it's like in the near future it's coming out. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it's going to be soon. And so if you come back tomorrow and it's gone, I don't care what you say, you cannot get this back. It's gone. But right now, right here, it's here. So you got to make a decision today to get this. So go get it right now, right? So I'm telling them what to do. Then I future pace. So future pacing is I want them to get a vision of what life is going to be like when they have this. Okay. If I can paint a really cool, beautiful future for them, then they're more likely to buy today. So I'm going to future pace this by basically saying, for those of you guys who are, or excuse me, I'm going to basically say, today you guys are getting started. And I know that right now it's hard to know what things are going to look like, but imagine what life's going to be like in a month from now. Imagine the changes you've already seen in just a month. And imagine now 6 months now, like how will that have affected your personal life, your family, your kids? Like imagine how that's going to be. Now imagine a year from now. Like just imagine like total excitement and freedom. Like you finally have the freedom from this weight or from this money or whatever the thing is. We talk about the future pacing, right? We're talking about what their future could be like. Just imagine this. Just imagine. I keep telling them to imagine. And they do call to action again. But now, stop trying future pace. Just imagine how awesome that's going to be. But if you guys want that, if you want this vision, if you want that future I talked about, now is the time to take action. You can't wait any longer. Click on the button down below. Click on the add to cart button. Get started today because blah, 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 right? So you're telling them and it's very important to direct them. Like, click on the add to, you see the button right there? It says add to cart. Click on it. See there? You guys don't miss it, right? Click on that button. I'm telling them exactly what to do. Then we transition now to post selling. So post selling is, I told them to click on the button. Now I'm assuming that some people are clicking on the button. And so I'm going to say, look, a lot of you guys are now already clicking the button. You're going to order. But for those, and so what I tell is like, for those of you guys, after you've signed up, you'll notice in the members area that this really cool thing is going to be in there. And So I'm kind of telling, as if I'm talking to people who already signed up, like this is what's happening. This is what's going to be. So it's almost like we're talking about this cool thing that's happening that they're missing out on because they haven't been paying attention, right? So that's kind of the post selling there. So I'm does that make sense? Hopefully. So like in a webinar, what I'll do a lot of times, is I'll say, look, for those of you guys who've already signed up inside the members area, the first thing you need to do is go watch this video. It's going to help you, and it's going to be awesome. Those who haven't signed up yet, like, get in there because this video is there. Like, go watch it. You need to be there. Some post selling, and I do a little takeaway selling, basically saying, look, you guys, I want to say one more thing is just understand that this, and this is my favorite takeaway close. I got it from Johan Mock. He is an amazing copywriter. He'd always say stuff like, like, for you guys, it doesn't matter for me if you get this course or not. I've already gone through this process. I've got a six-pack. I'm making a bunch of money. Life's awesome for me. So it doesn't matter for me if you take this or not. This isn't about me, okay? The $37 is not going to change my life at all, but it's going to change your life. But only if you take action right now. I need to warn you that this is going away. This video is almost over. Now is the time to take action. Go click on the button now. Don't wait any longer. Now is the time to do it. And I want to remind you guys really quick what you're going to get. I like doing a reminder and kind of restacking this again over time. Just a reminder, when you get started today, you're going to get boom, 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 all these things right here. And all you got to do now, guys, click on that add to cart button, and I'll see you inside the members area. And there you go. That, you guys, is how we do the Star Story Solution script. So what I do after I have this script, then I will typically import this into PowerPoint or into Keynote, and then I kind of edit each of these as a slide. I go back and add in images, add in video files, things like that. And then I will go and I'll just record a voiceover. So I'll set up my microphone and I'll just read this. So I'd be like, yes, this is me. And yes, I take all of these supplements every day. But before I tell you why, let me ask you a question. Do you want to launch a new company online? So I'll record this whole thing like that as an audio file. And then I'll get all the PowerPoint slides, and then I just hire somebody. For me, I have my brother do it, and he goes and he syncs all the audio and the video, syncs it up, and then from there gives me back a video file that I can then plug into ClickFunnels, and boom, I got my sales video done. So that's kind of the process. I hope that helps. Some of you guys may have horrible voiceovers, no offense. If so, there's definitely people you can hire to do voiceovers. You can hire people on Fiverr.com. If you Google voiceovers, there's a lot of people you can hire for a couple $100 that can do really good voiceovers of your script, and you can use that and sync it. But that's kind of the concept. So I hope that helps you guys. Hope it helps to show you how to use the Star Story Solution script to write your sales videos. And let me know as your videos get done, you guys. I'd love to see them and to see how they work. So again, thanks so much. My name is Russell Brunson, and I'll talk to you guys all again very, very soon.